Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you for joining me again today for another card making tutorial. We're using today's tiles stamp set and the coordinating field tiles dies. This is a bundle in the annual catalogue that's running at the moment. So remember, if you buy a stamp set with the coordinating dies or punches in a bundle, you will save 10% on the combined price. So it's always worthwhile having a look for bundles. Just makes them that little bit much better value. If that is that English, you know what I mean. So what the annual catalogue will be coming to an end in May. We'll be getting a new annual catalogue, and you know, it's that time where we sort of start to predict what might retire, and I'm sorry to say that this might be high on the list because I haven't seen many people use it. We'll have to wait and see, but even if it does come back, it's unlikely to be part of a bundle. So if you're interested in the bundle, best to get it now and not be disappointed if it either retires or the bundle gets broken down. So that's not to say sometimes they do bring back bundles. I have started doing that recently, but a lot of the time they will break down the bundle, so you will no longer save the 10%. Okay, so that's that. I've used this quite a few times. I actually really like it. I think it's really funky. Excuse me, beg your pardon. So what we're going to do today is a variation of this card. So this was just something that was in my mind to do because I had not used that long pierced die there, and I was like, okay, what can we do with that? There's a couple of dies missing because we're going to use them, and the width of that is almost bang on 4 inches, which is the width I used to cover a card front, just leaving a bit of a border. So this was my concept card, okay, which I've used purple posy, so one of the retiring colours as well. So if you want any cardstock in purple posy, terracotta tile, rococo rose, pretty peacock or seaside spray, you need to get onto that quick as well. Likewise with the ribbons, if you want any of the ribbons in those colours, get those too if they haven't already been snapped up, because those in colours are retiring with the catalogue too. So anything in those colours, embellishment, ribbon, cardstock, ink, the lot, will retire. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. So this was purple posy. The ink, we don't have purple posy ink, so I actually used gorgeous grape on there. So this was my concept card. So the thing I don't like about this is that I put my vanilla strips onto some vanilla, which meant that the little pierced holes don't show so much. And I think you kind of lose some of that impact from there. So on my example I'm going to do with you, I'm going to do Pretty Peacock base. Isn't that a stunning colour? We've got white strips that I've cut out, and instead of putting them onto another layer, I'm going to put them directly onto the cardstock. I would have put them onto some Pretty Peacock and then layered it on top, but I don't have enough Pretty Peacock's cardstock left over, so we're going to go with it. So as you can see, I've actually die cut 7 of these strips, so there's a bit of die cutting to do, but that cuts very easily, very simply. So don't be put off by that. It just sit there and do it, and it'll go through the mini as well, which is even better. I'm going to open out my card base just so that I can see the lines and keep it flat, really, to be honest. And yeah, we're going to get just layering this on. Okay, I'm not going to use a ton of glue. I'm just going to put 3 little ticks at the end and in the middle, and I'm going to start at either end, looking to get my top and bottom level. and putting that in place. Okay, where did I put that? There it is. So like I say, I'm not going crazy with the tape. I would have started using liquid glue. Now I'm going to flip and turn this. That might be a little frustrating for you, but I just want to make sure things are equidistant as I go down the card, and the best way to do that is to sort of meet in the middle. So I might keep those down here actually. I just didn't want to get into a mess with wet glue. It'll turn out how it turns out. You could try and measure it and do all kinds of crazy maths on it if you want. My brain doesn't work like that, I'm afraid. I don't really do. Yeah, maths is not my strong point. Okay, so we're just going to build this up. Slowly but surely. What kind of gap is that? I would say, it's about 1/8 of an inch, I guess. 2 or 3 mil maybe, if you're a metric person. And I just need to pay attention because when I get to the central one, because I don't have my additional cardstock to wrap the ribbon around, I'm going to actually adhere it to the strip before I stick it on. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I mean? Oh, whoops. Let's get that on the right place, shall we? So that spacing hasn't worked out too badly, sorry. That's all right. I did try it out beforehand just to try and get that right so that it's it looks okay. How's about that then? Just going to reinforce that fold. So this bit, so there is a bit more of a margin, but I don't think it's obvious enough. And once we put the ribbon on, I think that's going to look super cool. Okay, super cool. Ribbon. So I've got a small piece of ribbon here, so it's going to just sort of sit over there. So I'm going to actually bring in this, it's quite a thick ribbon. So I'm actually going to use the Seal Plus, and I'm just going to put a bit in the middle there, lay it over the top. So Seal Plus is very strong. If you were around in the times of Fast Fuse, it's of a similar strength. So if you're into making boxes and you're not a fan of wet glue, this is the tape runner for you. Try not to stick to the thing and not pull it so tight that it bends. Okay. And now we've got to get that stuck onto our card, and we've got to stick it through the ribbon. Okay, so I hadn't actually got that far in my planning process. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? What's going to be the best way to stick that on? Will it be wet glue, do you think? Teamed with some glue dots. I think I might stick a glue dot at each end. And in the middle. So I just realised that you probably can't see me doing that. Just going to press, so I've put one at each end. And one sort of in the middle, and I might just put a bit of wet glue on there. Another reason I didn't want to use wet glue is because I'm going straight onto my card front and I don't want it to soak through. Oh, I hope you're not catching the top of my head there. just going to give that a press. Okay, so that's really, really pretty. Got another length of ribbon here. I did have it in mind to do a bow. Might still do a bow because I wanted to show you how you do it with a single-sided ribbon like this. So if I use my traditional method, you see, you're going to end up with one of your tails not having the colour on it and a bit of a weird thing in the middle. So you've got that and that showing, which isn't desperately attractive. So if you actually loop it around like you would a normal bow, and then make sure you instead of pushing it through like that, twist it and then push it through, you should end up with the colour on both sides, she says, making a mess of it. Just takes just a little bit of extra manipulation, if you know what I mean. There we go. Right, did you see? Just made sure that that loop went through in the correct orientation, and then you have to pull it and fiddle with it. So if you've got single-sided ribbon, so you just got to put that extra twist in as you put your loops through, and then that will sit like that, you see. Okay, right, just a little bit more die cutting to do. We're going to cut one of these dies with the Pretty Peacock, and we're going to stamp our sentiment with Pretty Peacock ink. So I'm just using this lovely just wanted to say hello. Just want to break into song when you see that. Hello. No, not going to do it. My daughter thinks it's funny that I'll burst into song at opportune moments. Well, she doesn't think it's funny, she thinks it's embarrassing. That's what she does. In the days when we used to be able to saunter around the supermarket and listen to whatever was on the supermarket radio, they're jigging away, singing along. Right, so obviously I just taped that into position while I was rabbiting at you, and we're just going to put that on our die cut machine and run those through together, so that they're small enough to go through at the same time without incident. So the one thing you don't want to do is get allow your dies to cross over on the cutting plate, otherwise they will get damaged. But if you're cutting them separately like that, they will be fine. So those have come out beautifully. Just going to use regular adhesive to layer those together. Like so. You can use the little holes in the die to guide you as to where you need to go with those. I want to raise this up, but it needs to go around that ribbon, so I'm just going to use mini dimensionals to sort of top and bottom, so they kind of sit over the ribbon that's on the card. Okay, so just make like a little bridge, if you like. Take off those backings. And then add that to our card. Maybe a little bit over to the side this time. so that we can get our ribbon in place. And I'm going to use the glue dots again for that. I'm going to use a couple behind that knot to make sure that that's in place. And then we just need to trim our tails, and that is it. So it was just something different to do with those dies and the stamp set. Here we are, all done. Of course, products will be listed in the description bar if you fancy purchasing anything, and do get your hands on those in colour products before they disappear. Okay, thanks ever so much, everybody. Yeah, definitely prefer this one, much more impact. Thanks ever so much for joining me today. Do stay safe out there, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.